Good evening, everybody. Sandra Sheffer, host of Race and the Races. How y'all doing? I think it's been uh maybe a couple of weeks because I'm not sure. I did one. I know I didn't do one right after the election because I was a little tired after that. I was a little tired after those results. It was mixed. It was definitely a mixed response to the outcome of the election. Some of it was surprising. Uh, Definitely, Andrew Nixon's race was inspiring. What happened in CD20 was disappointing. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about all of that, right? So now understand that we are 69 days away from the general election, which will take place November the 3rd, right? And you guys are going to go out and vote because apparently one of the big things that Broward County was talking about is that it only had like a 16% turnout. Now, people tend to not show up as much during the midterms as they do for the general election because the president's not on the ballot, and primary races tend to have like a lower turnout. But we have an opportunity here in Florida to make history. So I really encourage folks that if you didn't turn out for the primaries, to please turn out for the general election. And one of the things, because I actually worked at a voting site, and there were some of the folks who had registered at NPAs. When they went to vote, they were surprised that they couldn't vote for either the Democrat or the Republican candidate, that they were only allowed to vote in the nonpartisan races, which were basically judges and school boards for the most part, right? Now, when the general election, which is going to take place November the 3rd, that's not the case. You will be able to vote for whoever you want to on either side. Both of the candidates, both of the nominees from the Republican and the Democratic side will be on your ballot. And so you'll have an opportunity to vote. But it's important for people to think about that, particularly in a state like Florida, where we have a close primary that you can only vote your party during the primary. Now, whether or not that should change is probably a conversation for a different day. And that was not a conversation to try to have once it was already time to vote on August the 18th. But no, all you non-party affiliates, no, please know that you will have the opportunity to vote for the candidate of your choice in November, on November the 3rd. We will have 2 weeks of early voting. Now, whether or not Broward is going to have the whole 2 weeks from 7 to 7, not sure about that yet. I was actually surprised that during the primaries that it wasn't the whole 2 week period that's allowed by the state. They actually started August 8th to the 16th, so it was about 8 or 9 days, and it was from like 10 to 7, so it wasn't even people who wanted to vote before they went to work didn't even have the opportunity to do that. But let's see if they do something a little bit different in the general, because I'm hoping that the turnout, like people just show up and show out, and we do way better than 16% on that day. And let's see what happens, right? All right. So November the 3rd, 69 days away from the general election. Florida has an opportunity to make history. Angie Nixon came out as the Democratic nominee for Senate. And let me tell you, I'm really happy about that. No, so this isn't the first time, because Val Demings was the nominee for Senate in 22. So this is not the first time we've had African American, Black female that was a nominee for Senate to come out of Florida. But she didn't win in 22. Let's try to change that. Let's actually take this opportunity and make history and send Angie Nixon to the Senate, because understand that she is her platform, and she is there to work for regular people, addressing regular problems. Okay, so we really need to take this historic moment and this opportunity to send somebody to the Senate that's actually going to do the work of the people, not someone who votes to continue to support corporations and big dollar folks and vote against the ACA, the Federal Affordable Care Act, Florida being one of the leading states of people who are registered or enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And she voted, Ashley Moody on the Republican side, voted to cut those subsidies. You don't want that. So people who are impacted by that, you've actually felt the consequence of a decision of the senator, the unelected senator from Florida, in what she did. So please, people, don't do that. Like, if someone's willing to mess with your health care, they don't understand the need for Medicare for all. They don't appreciate how expensive it is, and that even when people go to work, have jobs with benefits, that it really doesn't matter, you know. For example, I had to take my son to urgent care the other day, and the insurance policy we had, they used to take it, and now they're like, oh, we're not contracted with that insurance company anymore. It's going to be out of network. You got to pay $150 copay before we can even see you. I'm like, what? But I have insurance. And if that's the case, I need to find out where I can go and go there, right? Because you're paying for insurance at work, and then you go to these places, and they're opting to be out of network. That does not have to be the case, particularly since it's one of the bigger medical providers in our county, and they opted out of one of the insurance companies that a significant amount of people are enrolled in. And this isn't something that, and it wasn't like when you signed up for it in January 1st, you knew. It actually went into effect September 1st. So you already have the insurance policy that you were able to use for most of the year, and now you can't use it. And if I didn't have that emergency situation where I needed to go, I would not have known that. And most people won't know that. So they're going to go re-enroll with the same plan, not knowing that this major healthcare system decided to not take this insurance anymore, right? So these are the kind of things that wouldn't happen if there was a Medicare for all that's here. And let me tell you, I have a family member who needs a prescription. The prescription is $19,000 a month. Who can afford that, right? Like, you have to be straight, have millionaire money in order for you to do that. And that should not be the case. People should not have to lose their life in the United States of America because they can't afford medication for health issues that they have. And it's not anything that he did, you know, because some people are like, well, you know, no, this is something that he was born with. And so who can control that, right? Like, the genes are what they are, right? And the fact that you can't get medical treatment in this advanced country is something that everyone should be concerned about. And we should be in support of Medicare for all, or some sort of health system that allows people to have health insurance and be able to make it affordable and not have prescriptions. There should be no prescription in these streets that somebody that has insurance, and again, this family member has insurance, that they pay for every month, that they still have to figure out how they can pay $19,000 a month, or just compromise their health in the meantime and shorten their life because they can't have the necessary health care. So this is something that it's always been concerning me, because I was one of those people that was uninsurable before the Affordable Care Act, because I had what they called a pre-existing condition. So I couldn't get insurance unless it was through an employer. And I was self-employed small business owner for a very long time. So I was practically uninsurable until I had to get insurance through my office, which I was paying significantly more than someone else that could have received the individual policy. So we really need to take this seriously and support somebody that's going to be concerned about us having insurance. I'm telling you, like, it is no joke. Like, the fact that people don't think that this is an important enough issue to vote that way is very stunning to me, because healthcare is something that we all need. And I'm in that age, and most of my classmates and my friends are in that age where we are going to face some health, health issues, and we need to have insurance, right? You need to have insurance, whether you're working every day, whether you want to have a small business owner so you can create opportunities for other people. But really, 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 I mean, I really strongly encourage folks to look at, what it is that these candidates are talking about. Look at who it is that they're taking money from, because if they're taking money from insurance companies, the likelihood that they're going to go to get their job in an elected position and vote against an insurance company, listen, they're not going to do it, because they're taking those people money. So they're going to go do what they want. But Angie Nixon has a grassroots campaign. She's here for the people. So I'm telling you, support it. Now, I saw her last ask for donations, right? And one of the things that I hate about politics is how expensive it is to run for office, right? She was able to do something that was so monumental. She raised about around $1 million, beat out a person that had $16 million because it was because she went to the source, grassroots, went to the people. Because at the end of the day, you can have all that money, but it's one man, one vote, right? So you can have all that money. That's for you to try to get the votes. But if you're out there talking to the folks, they're going to vote for you and they're going to support you. So she stunned Alex Vindman. He wasn't it to start with. Like, he really wasn't it, right? He absolutely was not it. So I'm excited that she made it out. Now, I want to tell you that's just part of it, right? The real right now is to get her to actually become the next senator from the state of Florida. It's a historic moment. It's a great opportunity. We need to do that. And with all of that aside, she is on the right side of all of the issues. She's absolutely on the right side of all of the issues. So please, y'all, make sure you register to vote. I think you have to register by like maybe between October the 1st and the 4th. If you haven't already registered, or if you have family members that haven't registered, please go talk to them. Make them register right now. Make sure they're eligible to vote in the November 3rd election. So I believe you have to register anywhere between October the 1st and October the 4th in order for you to be able to vote in the election on November the 3rd. All right, Angie Nixon, send her there. Now, so I was going to say something about the fundraising. That's one of the reasons why I probably would never run for office, just because the sheer cost of it is like so stunning to me. I just can't see how I would spend that amount of money to have a job, right? But she's going to go there to do the people's work, so we need to make this happen. So I think the cost of this election is going to be like $16-20 million, something crazy like that, right? Now, what I need to make sure happens, right, is that if regular folks go and don't give all this money to make this historic moment happen, which I want it to happen. I want everybody to be on board and make this happen. That money can't all be spent with big media, with all the algorithm thoughts. That money needs to come back grassroots, right? It needs to come back into community. Because one of the things that I know that folks were complaining about in the 24 cycle and the 22 cycle is people are always coming to them and only asking them to volunteer, and they don't want to pay for them to do that work. So if that money is raised, that money needs to also come back into the community. I know it needs to do some TV stuff or whatever, but give that money to Black media, right? The NNMPA, they have like a whole bunch of like Black newspapers, Black radio, Black shows, Black media, Roland Martin, Joy Reid, whoever, Don Lemon, the West Side Gazette in Broward County, the Miami Times. That a majority of that money needs to go into Black media and has been into the Hispanic community too, because I think there needs to be some sort of explanation on this conversation about this Democratic Socialist Association that she's a part of now, and they're using that word in the wrong way. And I wouldn't even, she's being invited to talk in all of these spaces. I wouldn't get into that conversation. I was like, you call it a socialist all you want. I want to make sure people have Medicare for all. I want to make sure that people have affordable housing. I want to make sure people are able to work. And if that's what y'all want to call socialism, then call it that, because we're trying to do the work of the people and do things that people need. And that's what needs to happen, right? So the unearned media that she's getting by being invited into these spaces, she shouldn't use that time to argue with these people about whether she's a socialist or not. She needs to continue to just drill down on that platform and tell them, I'm here to make sure we get on affordable housing, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, Medicare for all. That's what you want to go to Senate for, and that's the only thing that you need to talk about. And that messaging is going to resonate with folks, right? Don't get caught up in whatever these labels they want to give people, right? No, let everybody know that you're going there to do that work, because that's exactly what she's going there to do. All right, so go ahead and support Angie Nixon. Go ahead and donate them $5, but also that campaign has a responsibility to invest and advertise and come and send that money back grassroots and into Black media also, right? And Hispanic, because you want to, because those folks, those communities are being impacted too. Because I know she has a position on ICE, right? I don't want to misrepresent what that position is, but we all know that ICE is very problematic. And if they're members of the Hispanic community that still in support of what this administration, I mean, I'm talking about the state of Florida and the federal government is doing when it comes to immigration, I don't know what to say about y'all, because I'm in the immigration law space and I'm telling you, I cannot see how anybody's happy with the policy that's happening right now. You can't even walk into Home Depot no more, right? You go to Home Depot and you're getting pulled over if you don't look how they think you should look, right? And then, of course, we also live in a county where they have license plate readers all over the place. So they're just looking at people license plate, figure out who is registered for. If your name don't sound American enough for them or non-immigrant enough for them, you getting pulled over. You're getting pulled over and they're arresting passengers and all. Okay. So listen, the Hispanic community, please vote your interest. And again, if you have any relative or cousin, whether you hate them, like them, love them, whatever, you have to have a problem with the way the immigration policy is right now. It is extremely, extremely problematic. And it's not what the president had said it was going to be. What they said was that they were going to be picking up all the criminals and all of the bad hombres and all of those folks. And I'm here to tell you that is not what's happening. Most of the people that are being detained by immigration right now have no criminal history whatsoever. And an unlawful entry into the United States can be considered a crime. But I'm also telling you that there are people that are being detained right now in ICE that did not make an unlawful entry into the United States. They came in with a parole. They checked in at the border before they were allowed into the United States, or they came in with a tourist visa. And so they're not unlawful. And we're talking about people who are in status that are being picked up, right? So folks have to have a problem with the way immigration is being done right now. And then you have people who are married to United States citizens who are going to a marriage interview to get their lawful papers, and they're getting arrested at interviews. Okay. We cannot be okay with this. This is not something that's only affecting Black people. This is affecting people in the Latino community. There's a huge Russian population that's in Broward County that's being affected by this too. There's a Ukrainian population that's in this county that's being impacted by that also live in this state. So y'all stay there thinking that this is a Haitian thing. This is a Venezuelan thing. It is not. This is affecting people across the board. In the Hispanic community, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, El Salvador, you're all being impacted by this. So vote your interest. I'm telling you, vote your interest. Don't be voting for nobody that's really okay with you minding your business, going into Home Depot to go pick something up. And then now you find yourself in ICE custody with judges who don't know what they're doing. Because they're arresting so many people, there's not enough trained judges who actually understand the process, because it's not like they could even promote the trial attorneys and make them judges, because they need the trial attorneys to actually do the work. So they're getting all these JAG judges, and I'm not mad at nobody JAG or nothing like that, but they're getting people who don't understand immigration law to go hear immigration cases, and the judges got this script that they're just reading from and not paying attention to the case. That's due process violations, but we already know that this administration don't care nothing about no due process, but we can do something about that. And that's by who it is that you decide to vote for, who you decide to vote for in this upcoming election. We have an opportunity to really flip both the House and the Senate blue. Florida can help with that. Georgia can help with that. There's a person running in Mississippi that can help with that. There's some, I know a friend of mine is running in North Carolina in CD 14 in North Carolina to go to the House of Representatives. We have an opportunity to at least stop the bleeding and do something different about what's going on right now. So immigration should be one of those things that are concerning the folks, because it is not okay what we're witnessing right now. Health insurance, Medicare for all, what the pharmaceutical companies are doing, you need to have someone that's on board, that cares about your health and that wants you to stay alive, and that's worried about your grandma, that's worried about your babies, and worried about all of these different things, right? So Angie Dixon, Senator of the Senate, and that's it. Now, that was the inspiring outcome. Now, the disappointing one, right? So CD24 and CD20 were the races that a lot of people were paying attention to in Florida. So CD24, we knew that it was either going to be Oliver Gilbert, Chevron Jones, possibly Kendrick Meek. Oliver Gilbert came out on top of that race. I'm not mad at that. That's what it is. He has a Republican that he has to run against in November. I hope that that area is solidly enough blue that there's really no threat of a Republican winning that seat, right? So CD24, I believe we're going to send another Democrat there. Now, CD20 was extremely disappointing, right? Extremely disappointing. And that was a combination of a whole bunch of problems. First of all, Debbie Wasserman Schultz went into that area, which is not her area. She keeps trying to tell people that that's her area. No, CD22 is the area that she should have ran in, but she didn't want to run in it because there's a well, listen, she still could have won it. She just didn't want to work that hard to run it. And that's my opinion. And this is my show. I get to tell my opinion. That's what I'm going to say. I'm saying that she didn't want to do the work that was necessary for her to run in that area. Kesia Early ran, and she ran against somebody named Pia. I always forget Pia's last name. No disrespect. I apologize for that. So Pia is going to be the Democratic nominee on that side to face a Republican in November. So let's hope Pia picks that seat up. I really do want her to pick that seat up. You know, I want her to pick that seat up to show that Debbie Wasserman Schultz should have took her butt over there with all the experience that she talks about, and she should have won that, go there, do the work, and add an additional Democratic seat instead of being scared to run against a Republican and all these accolades that she gives herself. She should have ran in 22 and added another seat for Democrats. She did it. Pia, I'm here for you, here to support you. I hope you win, right? So back to CD20. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz came out, and part of that was because we had four other, I think it was four, Dale Holness, Sheila Sheffield McCormick, Elijah Manley, and Luther Campbell were the other four folks in that race, right? Now, when you put together all of the votes they got, they beat Debbie, but for them, you know, they totally split the vote. I'm sure that was an analysis that was made, that they would split the vote so she knew she would win, right? But the folks who voted for her shouldn't have, but they did. It's what it is. But I do believe that this will be her last term in Congress, because if CD20 is crazy enough to let that happen twice, I don't know what to say, right? Because first of all, it was a totally legal map. So the map should not have happened anyway. We should not have even been in this situation. We were there. She came in as an interloper. That shouldn't have happened, but we had to deal with that. But what we should have done is that always fight the fight you're in. The fight we were in was that we had somebody who had name ID and a whole bunch of money that came into the race. So we couldn't afford to have four candidates, right? And as much as people were not in support of Dale Holness, he got 22, almost 23% of the vote. So he was the person that had the best chance of beating her. And if all of these other folks were not in the race and they had put their support behind Dale Holness, he would have won. He would have beaten her because the numbers adding up, they beat Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So what I'm saying is this going to be her last term because y'all ain't finna do that again, right? So don't come back over in 20 thinking, oh, I could win now. No, you can't. Dale Holness is the person that can win. Now, if somebody else decide to go run against Dale Holness, that's not the other three people that were running against him this time, maybe that's a conversation to be had at this time. But right about now, the race for that seat in 28 has already started. Go lay your ground game, get to know these people, show them the work that you were doing, show them what she's not doing when she goes there. She's been there 26 years, and what's the difference that has been in the lives of folks over here, right? So show them what she's not doing, but focus more on what you're doing and what you're going to do, right? And win that race in 28. So I believe this is her last term in Congress. And that's it. Because y'all, please don't tell me y'all going to do that again, right? My friend Christine Saint-Onge ran for state senate in 34 against Ashley Gant and Shannon Iguodara. I mean, Ashley was already an elected official in 109. Yeah, she was in 109. She was already elected. She knows Tallahassee already. She came out on top like significantly. It wasn't even a close situation, right? So she did win that seat. So congratulations to her for that. She's gonna go there and do the work. Some of the things that were talked about on the campaign trail, I hope you take on some of those issues that I never heard Shannon talk about anything because I didn't see her anywhere. So I don't know, but some of the ideas that Christine had that she wanted to bring she wanted to champion in Tallahassee. I hope Ashley at least takes some of that into consideration and maybe champion some of those issues there. Now, so there's a couple runoff. Tamar Hamilton is in a runoff. Veronica Walker won her seat handedly. Yay, good job. Congratulations on that. But Tamar Hamilton is in a runoff. So you all please go support her, vote for her. I think this is about the third time that she's running. She always comes like very, very close. So go ahead, make sure you're registered. You're going to vote November the 3rd for Tamar Hamilton for judge. And it's either seat 11 or 52 is one of the two, but Tamar Hamilton, know the name, go and support her and vote for her then. Let's talk about school board. Yay, shout out to Nicole Morris and Cynthia Dominique for winning their seat. So they're going to be 2 new members on the school board. I'm so happy for them because they were they were really big advocates. They were on advisory boards. They were at the board meeting. So we gonna see how this gonna go, y'all. And the 2 people who are running against them, child please, especially the person that was running against Nicole Morris, child please. Okay, I'm glad you ain't there because you weren't it. All right. So shout out to Nicole Morris on that win. And Cynthia Dominique, shout out, girl. That's my PLTI sister. And she came in there like 2 days before qualifying. And I'm telling you, as soon as I saw, I was like, thank you for running for that seat. And she ran for that seat and she won. I think they were trying to do some like Bundulu stuff over there. I think Nora was trying to be slick, y'all. And knowing she wasn't going to run again and was going to try to have that other woman run unopposed. But thank you, Cynthia, for having a vision to run for that seat and winning that seat. Thank you. So Mara won her seat in 1. And there's a runoff in 6. So Severa and I think Richard or Robert Fernandez, forgive me, y'all. But there's a runoff in 6, so you guys have to. That's not my area, so I'm not voting in that race. But there's a runoff in 6, and Alan Zeman beat Sonia Azim. But let me tell you, Sonia had him scared, right? Sonia had him scared. She did really well. So Sonia, you can run again in 28 for that for the seat 8, right? Because there's another countywide seat that's opening up in 28. You can run for that seat. And I believe your area seat may open. I'm not sure what area you live in, but you have an opportunity. You built great momentum. Almost 89,000 votes is nothing to joke about. That is that is good. That's good. That's very, very good. And so make sure you keep it up, continue to build community, show yourself, show the work that you're doing, and you have a chance to win that countywide race in 28. And I want to see you on the ballot again because I absolutely believe you can do that. But shout out to Nicole, shout out to Cynthia. I think you guys are getting sworn in sometime in November. Send me an invitation, please. Send me an invitation, please. Thank you, all that good work. So we talked about the judges, we talked about school board. So pretty much the Democratic nominee is what we thought it was going to be. David Jolly is the Democratic nominee for governor, and then Byron Donalds is the Republican nominee. Byron picked out his running mate. It's a person out of Miami-Dade County. Let's see how that goes. They should still lose. Now, David Jolly, sir, it appears. Somebody corrected me. So it's Roberto Fernandez III. That's in seat 6 for the school board. Thank you. So it's Roberto Fernandez III. That's in a runoff with Adam Severa for the school board seat 6. Thank you, Corey, for letting me know. I knew it was a name something like that. So it's Roberto Fernandez III is the candidate in seat 6 for the school board in a runoff with Adam Severa. Adam Severa is there now. He was appointed when Brenda Pham resigned from her seat. That's a whole nother conversation for a different date. All right, so it's Roberto and Adam, seat 6, that are going to be on the ballot. Everybody else won their seat with the 50% plus one, so they're not in a runoff. It's all good. All right. So David Jolly came out on the governor's side. We figured that was happening. Now, what David Jolly don't need to do is to forget the Democrats and try to get moderate Republicans to vote for him, right? They should already just vote for him because he was a Republican way longer than he was ever a Democrat or independent. So they should just know you and vote for you, but don't go ignoring folks trying to convince Republicans that they should vote for you at the expense of the Democrats who probably didn't really support you, but they're going to vote for you anyway because ain't nobody trying to hear no Byron Down or be no governor. All right. So please. Okay. So he came out, and that Tadeo is the nominee for the chief financial officer. Listen, I'm not saying that she probably can't do that job. And I'm going to go ahead and vote for her because she's the Democratic nominee that came out. But Annette done ran for a whole bunch of different gigs, right? So listen. All right. Annette Tadeo's chief financial officer. Joey Mendoza Atkins is the person that's out there for ag commissioner. He may have a bit of a challenge because the other person got a whole bunch of money, but that don't matter because, right, one man, one vote. So let's see if that happens. And Javier is the attorney general candidate. He did not need to be in the primary because he ran unopposed. So he's the nominee for AG. And then I'm in CD26. There's a young lady who didn't have a primary because she ran unopposed too. That's on CD26. So you have an option if you don't want to send Diaz-Balart to Congress again. You have somebody that you can vote for on the Democratic side in CD26. I think those are the ones that I wanted to talk about. Those were the big ones, right? Okay, so I didn't want to stay too long today. Go ahead, send y'all $5, $10, $25 recurring donations to Angie Nixon so we can make history with that. And then support David Jolly. Like I said, I was not a fan, but I'm gonna go ahead and vote for him. So support him because we don't need another Republican governor in the state of Florida. It's been 30 years of this, right? It's enough. It's enough. Y'all life ain't no better. Come on now. Stop tripping. And also, we're going to talk more about this, that housing tax, the property tax thing. Y'all better vote no for that thing. I'm telling you, y'all better vote no for that. But then we're going to have a more informed conversation about that. But I'm just telling you, if you look into what it is, you going to vote no for that because them people ain't do nothing good for you. So this ain't nothing good for you because if you look at what you're paying too much for, it ain't your taxes. It's your homeowner's insurance. I assure you that most of you are paying more for homeowners insurance than you are for property taxes. And some of you, if your house is already paid off, you taking a chance that the hurricane don't blow your roof off or your house away and you don't have no homeowners insurance. Okay. So please, people, your problem is not your taxes. It's your homeowners insurance. And that's where the real fight needs to be. And that's where the real cost cutting needs to be. Because what happens is like these companies are in Florida. Then when there's a storm, they don't want to pay. So they dip out the state and then they stay away for 4 or 5 years. Then they come back. Into the state and then start writing policies again. And when it's time for them to pay, they dip again. So your problem is not your taxes. It is your homeowner's insurance policy. And that's where the real savings should come in. There's no reason why we should be paying $10,000 plus for homeowners insurance. Okay. My mom's like 83 years old and she pays between the two, she pays tens of thousands of dollars in homeowners insurance. So that's the real problem. It ain't your taxes. Alrighty. So that was it. Miami-Dade, I believe one of the only judges that I was telling people to vote for was Bonita Jones Peabody. She is in a runoff in November. So if you're in Miami-Dade County, Bonita Jones. Oh, and I think Arthur Lamar is also in a runoff for judge in Miami-Dade County. But Renee Gordon, she won her seat. Spencer Ige won her seat, and I believe Mabel Ruiz lost her seat. But it's okay. It ain't okay, but then it's okay. So we got some of the people on the bench that we wanted to see on the bench. Yeah, and the other thing about Angie Nixon, so Corey's over here saying Angie Nixon, urgency of the now, right? Let me tell you, Angie Nixon won Miami-Dade. Do y'all know what that means? Listen, Miami-Dade voted straight red in 24. I'm telling you, it was like red, the whole thing. She won Miami-Dade County. That says a lot. That says a lot because the people in Miami-Dade are starting to wake up and be like, yo, this some BS that's happening in this state of Florida right now, right? So she won like Miami-Dade County. That is a big deal. And that just lets you know that we just need to do that work. This history can be made and we need to go ahead and make it happen. So thank you so much, y'all, for your time. Thank you so much for your time. Shout out. Yeah, I got hair drama. That's why, I got a hat on today, but it's okay. Thank you so much for your time, and everybody have yourself a good night. Go donate them $5 recurring donation, support the campaign, but also campaign. Don't take these people last $5 and go give it to big media. Reinvest it back into the community and continue the grassroots ground game, reaching out to the people directly, go reach out to their trusted voices and encourage them and support them and stop making everybody work for free, right? Support them and have them do that work. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good night. Elections have